We know alien spacecraft are operating in our airspace. We know this. There is ample evidence, ample documentation, ample eyewitness testimony. We have it. At the time I had my first confrontation with what I feel was an alien spaceship was in 1978. I was a police officer with 14 years service in. We were responsible for policing an area of 600 square miles. We were travelling along a remote country lane in an area called Carlton Moor. It was 2:30 in the morning, very dark, very cold, January morning. And as we came round a corner in this country lane, we were suddenly confronted with a huge disc-shaped object in the air in front of us. The object was probably 100 feet in diameter with a dome on top, with window porthole type things around the outside of the dome. We were probably 30 meters from it at this time, and the only effect it had was that it created static on the police vehicle radio. We stopped the car and got out to get a closer look at the object, and it was the most amazing sight I'd ever seen. That was my first introduction, if you like, to the UFO scene. The problem with this subject is, the closer you get to the truth with it, the more people in official capacities, should I say, in government levels, start to get a little bit worried about what you're digging up. You can get to the stage where you get threatened with this thing. I have been threatened. I've received threatening phone calls where I've been threats of my life. In this house I have a 24-hour UFO hotline. This hotline is known, the telephone number has been advertised right across England, in fact Great Britain. I receive telephone calls regarding sightings, etc., from all over the United Kingdom. I even get calls from abroad, people sighting UFOs in places like Canada and America. What's the UFO activity like over your area at the moment? I have over 100 investigators in the United Kingdom. They are spread out right across the country. I receive telephone calls if somebody has had a UFO sighting in one particular part of the country. What I do is I go to my records and find which investigator I have in that area. I then give the details to that investigator and ask them to investigate the case. They in turn fill the appropriate investigation forms in which I've supplied them with, and they feed them back to me. Quest International is the largest UFO magazine in Europe by circulation. We get information supplied from across the world in relation to the latest in UFO activity, to keep people who are interested in the subject right up to date with current events about UFOs. The magazine circulation is growing rapidly. It is an indication of the growing awareness, not just in Great Britain, but in many, many parts of the world, of the existence of the UFO phenomenon. This is a UFO site sampling case. It's a box of tricks which we take to the sites of UFO landing cases, any site where there is evidence, physical evidence, which we can collect and have analysed by scientific institutions. We've used this several times. It contains a whole box of gizmos, if you like, everything we need from compasses to magnifying glasses to areas of measuring for size, sterile gloves to keep your hands from being contaminated, and of course sample bottles. These go together with a Geiger counter, which are the on-site instruments we use for, as I say, a UFO landing or debris from a UFO. Just as an example, This particular bottle contains the remnants of a UFO crash in Haifa in Israel. What happened was that a huge ball of light was seen hovering in the sky by an awful lot of witnesses, and then suddenly it came crashing to the ground. There was an enormous fire which the fire brigade were unable to put out for several hours, and the heat generated from this kept everybody at bay for 7 or 8 hours. When the fire eventually was subdued enough for people to approach it, there was a huge pile of white ash. They took samples of this, and some were sent to me, which I sent for scientific analysis. The results coming back were that it was 90% sodium, magnesium, I beg your pardon, and that it was of a structure which had never been seen on Earth before. The composition of this had never been seen in our scientific institutions. So that is just one example of the type of samples which come to our attention from different parts of the world. A sky watch is where you get a number of people together, UFO enthusiasts, who stand on some remote area where there has been a history of UFO activity. They stand there and hope that a UFO is going to appear for them. Certain sky watches have seen UFO activity in various parts of the country. I mean, a great deal of the time they go and see nothing. The size of the attendance depends on the size of the organisation involved. We have sky watches occasionally, and we can have 60 or 70 plus people who will sit on the top of the freezing moors for hours watching the sky. This is Carlton Moor in the heart of the Yorkshire Dales. It is the centre of a great deal of UFO activity, and many sightings have been reported from this area. The sightings have been all over the area, from north to south down here, and many people have come from many parts of the world in an effort to see these UFOs. It is not known why we get so many sightings of these things on the top of this hill, but it's suspected it is because there is a junction where many ley lines cross. I have seen them on many occasions up here, and they keep returning. Through my many contacts with UFOs, I have been given a higher level of perception in which I am now able to communicate with them to a degree, in which they've given me an insight into what they're trying to achieve. We have got to protect this planet and all life upon it, because it is responsible for our existence. And if we do not give it the protection which it deserves, we will suffer badly. And when we lift our awareness a level to the point when we understand that the planet is alive, Mother Earth is part of our existence, then we will protect her the way she protects us. And the world must know, the whole world must know, that this is the only way that the human race can survive. Unless we take notice of this information we are being given, we have no future.